So in today's video, I have decided to take you along with me in my clean warm-up. So we're going to be taking a look at the mobility work and the things that I do on the barbell before I get into my working sets. So let's go. So as with any session, I always start the session quite generalized. I look to jump on the bike 5-10 minutes before getting into some mobility work. And the mobility work is generalized, but we still want to be trying to focus on our mobility restrictions. Now, if you don't know where your mobility restrictions are, you can download the free copy of the mobility manual, which assesses your mobility constraints and then looks to put together a warm-up that you should be following before your sessions. So my mobility work consists of 3 movements. The first exercise is a press-up march. This is going to be focusing on our hip mobility. So it's just marching that one foot in line with our hand. We can drop the back knee down and push that front knee out, and you should feel a nice stretch in the hips. And what I would tend to do here is 5 reps per leg before I get into our cat-cows. Cat-cows, we're just going to be rounding through the spine, chin to chest, before scooping down nice and low, looking up to the ceiling. And again, I'd do 10 reps, and what I would look to do within these 10 is I can sway side to side, and as I scoop down, I might look behind me as I'm trying to put as much movement into my spine as I possibly can. And then my third exercise would be a shin box. So again, this is looking at hip mobility, internal, external rotation of the hip. So it's one leg in front at a 90-degree angle, one leg behind, 90-degree angle. Feet stay exactly where they are, but I'll lift my knees up, drop the knees to the other direction. So you'll feel that stretch within the inside of the thigh. I can then add in just leaning forwards to get a better stretch through my lower back and my glutes. And if that feels okay, I might bring my hands up in front of me just to intensify that movement a little bit more. But same as everything else, I'd do 10 reps, so 5 per side, and I'd complete 3 rounds of this mobility before then I get onto the barbell. Hopefully at this point, we're now feeling a little bit more mobilized. We're gonna now start onto the bar. So on the bar, we're just gonna take a look at the 3 key positions needed for the clean. First one is our front wrap position. So we're just gonna go into a tall muscle clean. So clean grip position, driving the elbows high. Once the bar comes to our sternum, we're going to shoot those elbows through. So all we're looking to try and do is drive those elbows up nice and high. Before I get into my front squat, so here I'd use a slow eccentric. Think about loading the quads and keeping the weight through the center of the foot and chest shining forwards the whole way through, trying to maintain my front wrap position. And then my third movement, looking to put a little bit of speed in with my tall clean. So a tall clean, we're not looking to shrug the shoulders. It's a slight flex in my elbow before I jump hard into my squat position. So the aim here is to try and keep that bar as low as I possibly can. So in my warm-up here, I do 3 reps on each exercise. And again, I do 3 to 5 working sets, depending on how I feel in that session. So if I feel okay, I'll just do 3 sets. If I'm feeling a little bit achy, I'd work up to more 4 or 5 sets. So now we've completed 3 warm-up sets on the bar, we're now going to start to look to progress that weight upwards, but going through the 3 positions of the movement. We're going to take a look at the high hang at lighter weights, increase the weight, take a look at the hang position, and then we're going to go into the full lift. This is our 3-position clean. And all we're looking to try and do is meet the same things that we did in that previous position. So as I said, the first position is our high hang. This is where the bar wants to sit on the top part of our thigh. We're going to keep our arms nice and loose. We're going to try and maintain that vertical dip and drive, keeping that bar super close. As I go through the dip and drive, making sure the weight stays in the midfoot. And now let's increase that weight. So from there, we're now going to get into our hang position. So the hang position is just above the knee, making sure we've got a vertical shin and the weight is through the center of the foot. When I set up in that hang position, I want to make sure the bar is in line with my armpit. And I'm going to think about driving my hips and knees forwards to try and find that same position that I was in when I went for my high hang clean dip. So my high hang clean dip was to here. So when I go from my hang position, I'm looking to try and find that same position. As I said earlier, it's always looking to try and get back to that previous position. Let's see if I can do it. So the final position now is our full clean. So when I go from the floor, I'm looking to try and push through the floor to try and find that same position that I was in my hang clean. So making sure I got that vertical shin, the weight is to the center of the foot, and the bar is in on my armpit, before driving my hips in these forwards to find the identical position to where I was in the dip of the high hang, driving hard into that bottom position. Now from here, we've made another little increase in weight. Thereafter, I would look to go from the floor, singles and doubles, increasing the weight maybe 5 to 10% until you get to your starting weight. So the full clean should look a little bit like this. So at this point, we're going to stay from the floor. If I'm doing cleans from the floor, I'm going to increase the weight 5 to 10% until I get to my starting weight, doing that same movement. All I'm looking to try and do is find those previous positions. So I'm drilling the positions. This is a really good warm-up at making sure we're in the perfect positions needed for the clean. Hopefully by using this warm-up, it's going to really help you get into the best positions needed for the clean. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more useful weightlifting videos just like this.